Nike finally decides to get into the Caitlin Clark.
Ladies and gentlemen, after months of rumors, endless speculation, and fans practically begging Nike to finally give Caitlin Clark the respect she deserves, the athletic giant has just unveiled the most anticipated logo reveal in women's sports history. The internet absolutely exploded when Nike dropped Caitlin Clark's signature CC logo, paired with a cinematic commercial that looked like it had more production value than most Hollywood movies. And let me tell you, the reaction has been nothing short of spectacular. Yet, while Clark's fans were celebrating what might be the most significant endorsement moment in women's basketball history, someone else was busy having a complete meltdown about being overshadowed once again.
Good. Got the pants, got the charms, necklace, zipper, everything.
It's special. I mean, you know, there's very few people who get the opportunity to say that they have a logo and to make the impact that she makes, not just, I think, in the sport, but globally, just by being who she is. She's a connector. She brings people together. And, you know, I think for us to be a part of that, and whether it's, you know, as simple as being able to celebrate all of these things with her, or, you know, as much as walking out into the arena and seeing the whiteout on the chairs out there, it's really cool, and it's really special and shoot, I'm talking about it right now, and just feeling the intense gratitude for me personally, being in women's basketball, to be able to be a part of this moment, and to celebrate with her.
That's right, Angel Reese is making headlines for all the wrong reasons, and her latest display of pettiness during Candace Parker's jersey retirement ceremony on August 30th might just be the most embarrassing thing we've seen from a professional athlete all season. Smash that like button and drop Night Queen in the comments, because what I'm about to break down will show you exactly why Caitlin Clark is operating on a completely different level than everyone else in this league. The Nike logo reveal itself was everything Clark's fans have been waiting for since she officially entered the WNBA on April 14, 2024. And frankly, it's about time the swoosh recognized what everyone else already knew. The design features two interlocking CS, symbolizing both her initials and her complete style of play, with Nike explaining that the inner C represents her inside game, while the outer C represents her outside game.
I've been telling y'all that Nike takes their time, that A'ja Wilson's shoe deal was 2 years in the making, that Paige Beckers had PEs, not her own signature shoe, and that Caitlin Clark's was 100% coming. And people kept saying, oh, Nike fumbled the bag with Caitlin. It has to get out there. Nike fumbled the bag. No, they didn't. It takes time. She's got to develop a whole freaking product line. But they just announced, breaking news right now, we have a logo. That is the official Caitlin Clark Nike logo. And it's not just that. I mean, this is cool. Nike has just announced that a signature product line will be dropping soon, with signature shoes coming in 2026. Now, this is going to be her logo for all of her Nike stuff that is.
Now, I'll be honest, when I first saw the logo on September 25th, my reaction was pretty lukewarm. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than two overlapping circles, which felt almost too basic for someone of Clark's caliber and marketing potential. But here's the thing about great branding that most people don't understand. Sometimes the most effective logos are the ones that grow on you over time, rather than hitting you over the head with flashy complexity. The more you look at Clark's CC logo, the more it makes sense from both a merchandising and marketing perspective. It's the kind of mark Nike can slap on t-shirts, hoodies, basketball shoes, literally any piece of apparel, without it ever looking cluttered or overwhelming. It's clean, it's recognizable, and most importantly, it's distinctly hers in a way that will remain instantly identifiable for decades to come. And then there's the Nike commercial, an absolute masterpiece of marketing genius, packed with so many subtle Easter eggs that Clark's fans are still uncovering new details even now.
WNIK, and as usual, we're talking about Caitlin Clark.
All right, subtle commercial, nothing too crazy, no big bang. But here we go, folks. If we look at this right here, this is the Easter egg I'm talking about. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 billboards. 8 billboards. October, December, November, January, February, March, April, May. The start of the WNBA season. Is that when these shoes are going to drop? Is that when these shoes are going to drop in May? We know that come October, we're going to get some merchandise. We're going to get some apparel. But the shoes, they said, coming soon in 2026. How soon? May 2026?
The most significant clue came during the sequence where 8 different months flashed across the screen: October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and May. That appears to be pointing toward a May 2026 launch date for Caitlin Clark's signature shoe line. Think about that for a moment. We're potentially looking at Clark entering her 3rd WNBA season already equipped with her own Nike signature shoe, something that took other basketball legends years, sometimes even decades, to achieve. The merchandise rollout itself has been planned with military precision. Apparel hitting stores on October 1, 2025, followed by the signature shoe release in May 2026. This isn't some rushed cash grab or quick licensing deal. This is Nike carefully constructing a brand empire around Caitlin Clark, one that could rival some of their biggest basketball endorsements in history. The amount of time, planning, and resources being invested proves Nike sees Clark as a long-term cornerstone, not just a short-lived marketing trend. But while Nike was busy cementing Caitlin Clark's status as the undisputed queen of women's basketball endorsements, Angel Reese was out here putting on a masterclass in how to completely embarrass yourself on one of the most important nights in Chicago Sky history.
And if you see here, a lot of the players decided to show support, show some love. But remember, Candace Parker rated Angel Reese as a C-tier player. And the Reese's Pieces got in Angel Reese's head that Candace Parker was hating, so now Angel Reese needs to throw shade towards Candace Parker's way. Angel Reese, somebody who called Candace Parker a cloud chaser. Imagine that, Angel Reese in another one-sided beef. Angel Reese calling somebody else a cloud chaser. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't make.
August 30th, 2025 was supposed to be a night of pure celebration, a tribute to Candace Parker, a true legend who delivered a championship to Chicago and earned nothing but admiration from everyone in the arena. Instead, Angel Reese turned it into a showcase of her fragile ego and petty grudges. The sight was powerful at first. Every single Chicago Sky player proudly wearing tribute shirts with Parker's face, her iconic number 3, and her championship trophy. Camila Cardoso wore it. Hailey Van Lith wore it. Even the mascot was rocking it, paying respect to one of the greatest players in WNBA history. But Angel Reese? She zipped her jacket up so tight it looked like she could barely breathe, making absolutely sure not a single glimpse of Candace Parker's face on that tribute shirt could be seen. This level of pettiness traced back to one thing. Parker once had the audacity to rate Reese as a C-tier player during a segment earlier in the 2025 season. Apparently, that single comment shattered Reese's pride so badly that she couldn't even show basic professional respect to a legend on her jersey retirement night.
But Angel Reese, oh, she said, hell no. She said, I am keeping this warm-up jacket. Folks, see that? I still had a little bit to go. See? Angel Reese, she's got no more room. That thing is zipped up so tight she could barely breathe. But guess what? She's definitely not going to be giving Candace Parker any grace. She's not going to be giving Candace Parker any clout, giving Candace Parker the respect. When we look at the intros, everybody's wearing their shirts, except for one, Angel Reese. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Angel Reese says, nah, I'm not going to be called dead.
Instead of using that moment as motivation to go out and drop 25 points to prove Candace Parker wrong, Angel Reese spent the entire game sulking. She shot a miserable 3-4-10 from the field, bricking easy looks right under the basket. The contrast between how these two stars handle adversity and criticism couldn't be more stark if you tried to engineer it in a laboratory. When Nike initially lowballed Caitlin Clark during her college career and early WNBA days, did she whine on social media or resort to petty gestures? No. She went out, dominated on the court, and forced Nike to recognize her value, until they had no choice but to hand her one of the biggest endorsement deals in women's basketball history. Angel Reese, on the other hand, gets criticized by a legend, and responds by zipping up jackets, pouting, and playing awful basketball while making sure everyone knows she's upset. The timing of these two stories couldn't be more perfect in highlighting the massive gap between Clark's professional maturity and Reese's ongoing immaturity, because here's the split-screen moment. On September 25th, Caitlin Clark is celebrating a historic Nike partnership, the culmination of years of relentless work and undeniable excellence, while Angel Reese is busy sabotaging her own reputation with petty antics.
Gifted her entire team her signature merch, but it wasn't just the team. every fan that shows up to Gamebridge tonight will get the first release of Caitlin Clark's signature merchandise. About the Indiana Fever not showing love to Caitlin Clark. Because to me, it took too long. Well, guess what, guys? Now we all...
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still dealing with the fallout from her August 30th tantrum, the one that exposed to the entire basketball world exactly what kind of teammate and competitor she really is when things don't go her way now. Let's shift to the logo comparison game that blew up on social media right after Nike's September 25th announcement, because it perfectly illustrates the current hierarchy in women's basketball endorsements. At the very top of the tier list sits Sabrina Ionescu's logo. Clean, sharp, instantly recognizable, and executed with true professionalism. Coming in at a solid second place is Angel Reese's Reebok logo. You can clearly make out the A, and while it's not groundbreaking, it gets the job done from a branding perspective, but then things start to get messy. Brianna Stewart's logo? It honestly looks like something a middle school art student might doodle in the back of their notebook. And AJA Wilson's design? Well, it more closely resembles a cheap bottle opener you'd get free with a soda purchase than a professional basketball logo.
It's simply the talk of the internet today. Her and Taylor Swift broke the damn internet. Yes, bro. And for all the people that was hitting me up about Caitlin Clark's signature logo, somebody said it looked like Chanel. I said it looked like Gucci. But whatever it is a luxury sports brand. I can't think of very many luxury sports brands. Guys, yeah, do you, like, I'm a fashion guy. And I understand what Nike is doing. Nike is trying to get into the luxury brand style.
The fact that Caitlin Clark's relatively simple CC design immediately lands in the top tier of women's basketball logos says a lot about how low the bar has been set by previous attempts. But what makes Clark's Nike partnership truly historic is the context, how long it took to get here and the resistance she faced every step of the way. Back in March 2024, her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey even called Nike out on social media for disrespecting Caitlin, refusing to give her the endorsement opportunities she clearly deserved despite her unmatched marketability and talent. The fact that Nike eventually reversed course and handed her what looks like a generational deal proves one thing: persistence and performance will always win out over corporate politics and early skepticism. And fans? They've spoken loud and clear. The reaction to the September 25th logo reveal has been overwhelmingly positive, with comment sections flooded by people saying this is the recognition Caitlin's deserved for years. Many are calling it the start of a new era, praising the logo's clean design, and already planning to grab the merchandise the second it drops on October 1st.
Went all out for Caitlin Clark's logo drop, so there was a lot of excitement already, like fluttering about Gamebridge, and energy was high. They definitely spared no expense in letting everybody know that Caitlin Clark does have a new logo out. The arena was actually covered with t-shirts that said Caitlin Clark was here. The outside of the arena had her logo everywhere. She even showed up with all these like accoutrements.
I can't have anything without some negativity. Sports Illustrated posted this, but I actually read the article. It's just hater. He used random people's opinions on X and Twitter. Fans don't like her logo. No, you don't like the logo. You just found some random people that agree with your opinion. This is called confirmation bias. I can't stand people like that. What they do is they find anybody who confirms their bias. So what they do Google searches and things like that instead of just being objective.
The excitement level is through the roof. Exactly what you'd expect from a successful brand launch, pure organic enthusiasm from the target audience. But here's where things get really interesting and frankly concerning when it comes to the politics of women's basketball. Despite this being one of the biggest endorsement announcements in league history, the WNBA's official social media channels have been suspiciously silent. While the Indiana Fever flooded their feeds with fire emojis and celebrated their superstar's achievement, the league's main page acted like nothing even happened. That silence is impossible to ignore. We're talking about the WNBA's biggest draw and most marketable player landing a historic Nike deal, and the league barely acknowledges it? Conspiracy theories are already flying, and while they might be overblown, the optics are undeniably awful. When your league office looks less excited about your top star than random fans on Twitter, it raises serious questions. Is this just bad PR management? Or is there a deliberate agenda at play that doesn't line up with promoting their most valuable asset?
Brought in new fans, national media, and even primetime slots. Her absence isn't just hurting the Indiana Fever, it's apparently impacting the entire league's momentum. But this also sparks a deeper conversation. Is it fair for one rookie to carry the weight of an entire league's popularity? You see, critics say the WNBA's marketing has leaned heavily on Caitlin Clark, while longtime stars like Angel Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and others deserve more spotlight too. On the flip side, others argue Caitlin Clark is the draw and the race.
The production value of Nike's September 25th commercial deserves serious recognition, because it treated Caitlin Clark like the superstar she is, not as some niche women's athlete who needs a different marketing playbook. The cinematography, the music, the hidden Easter eggs, every detail screamed premium brand partnership, not token diversity initiative. That kind of investment shows Nike doesn't just see Clark as a women's basketball star. They see her as a global marketing force capable of competing with their biggest male endorsers, and honestly, what makes this even sweeter is the karma factor. The critics who called her overhyped. The brands that tried to lowball her. The players who dismissed her impact. They are all now forced to sit back and watch Caitlin Clark sign historic deals and build a brand empire, while they're left fighting for scraps. Meanwhile, the August 30th Angel Reese jacket fiasco was just the latest reminder of what happens when jealousy consumes you, while Clark just keeps on winning.
Next generation young guns enter the league, it is becoming more and more apparent that the WNBA veterans did not do much to really advance the game of the WNBA. They didn't really develop the game as much as they'd like to think. You have these rookies coming in and doing in one season, and doing in less than a season and half a season what it's taken these vets of the past.
People are selling the new Caitlin Clark Kobe's for double, sometimes more than double what they actually paid for them. So it's been estimated there's about 13,000 of these shoes that were released from Nike, and literally within minutes, all sold out for about $190 a piece. People knew these were going to be hot, so resellers were picking them up on the cheap and now doubling and sometimes tripling their profits on a place like eBay. So if you were lucky enough to get a pair of these, put them up on eBay, you're going to sell them for around $350, $400 minimum, depending on the size. And that's just kind of the way it works right now with anything Caitlin Clark related. The stuff is really hot. Watch for Caitlin Clark stuff because it sells.
Her college jerseys were already among the best-selling women's basketball merchandise ever. Now, paired with Nike's global reach, the potential for record-breaking sales feels inevitable. The legacy impact of this deal will echo for decades. Historians may look back at September 25, 2025, as the moment women's basketball endorsements shifted from novelty investments to legitimate global business ventures. Of course, the pressure on Clark will be immense once she returns from injury. Every game will be evaluated not only for basketball performance but also for its effect on sales and brand perception. That's the burden of being the face of a major endorsement, but given Clark's track record of thriving under pressure, it's a challenge she's likely to embrace. Finally, the international implications are massive. With Nike pushing Clark's brand into Europe, Asia, and beyond, markets that once ignored women's basketball may suddenly become engaged. This kind of organic growth, driven by exposure and representation, can create sustainable long-term success rather than temporary media buzz.
Angel Reese shoe before a Caitlin Clark shoe. It's almost like Nike forgot about Caitlin Clark and just moved on to Juju, because they announced stuff about her signature shoe coming out in March with details of colorway, style, price, the whole 9 yards. And all they've done with Caitlin Clark is give her a colorway in the Kobe shoes and just calling them like the Caitlin Clark Kobe's. But even just that, they sold out in less than a minute. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm happy for Angel Reese. She got her signature shoe and was featured on the 2K26 cover with the signature shoe.
Seek that attention, right? And another thing is, it's obvious she's jealous of Caitlin. Every interview, every tweet, everything is about Caitlin. I haven't yet to see Caitlin even respond to her yet. Have y'all?
No.
So when you asking me like, yo, I get it, everybody's watching women's basketball now, who's the real reason? Well, yes, you are right. Reese has a small amount of that, right? But the other real credit goes to Caitlin. Not just because what she's doing outside the court and she's waving her hand and all that. It's because she's giving buckets in basketball, right? And she looks like Steph Curry. And that's simple.
The problem with Angel Reese is that when we talk about and attitude can make somebody unattractive, her attitude and just her demeanor really rubs me the wrong way. I'm not on the court, so maybe Caitlin Clark has said something crazy to Angel Reese. I have not heard it. Angel Reese, whenever she has the opportunity to throw a shot, she does, and she makes herself look like an ass. They're watching the WNBA because of one person. It's okay. A talented player, maybe you and Caitlin Clark would share the lead down.
The timing couldn't be better for women's basketball. Having a legitimate superstar with major brand backing elevates the entire sport. When casual fans see Caitlin Clark's Nike commercials during NBA games or spot her merchandise in major retail stores, it normalizes women's basketball in a way that benefits everyone in the league. Even players who might not like Clark personally should appreciate how her success creates more opportunities and higher salaries across the board. The contrast between Clark's professional approach to brand building and Angel Reese's petty drama couldn't be clearer after the events of August 30th and September 25th. One is signing historic endorsement deals and building a business empire. The other is making headlines for refusing to show basic respect to legends during their biggest moments. That's the difference between an athlete who understands the business side of professional sports and someone still stuck in a high school mentality. Looking ahead to the October 1st merchandise launch, the market reaction will be fascinating to watch. If early social media buzz is any indication, Nike has a massive hit on its hands that could shatter sales records for women's basketball. The combination of Clark's popularity, Nike's marketing power, and pent-up demand from fans who have waited years for authentic Clark merchandise creates the perfect storm for a historic launch, but the May 2026 shoe release will be even bigger. Signature basketball shoes are the ultimate test of an athlete's marketing power and cultural impact. If Caitlin Clark can launch a line that resonates with both hoopers and casual fans, she'll have achieved something very few women's basketball players have ever accomplished. That kind of milestone cements legacies and builds generational wealth. The business implications go far beyond Clark's personal success. Nike's September 25th announcement wasn't just about one athlete, it was a statement about the commercial viability of women's basketball. When the world's biggest athletic brand commits at this level, it forces other companies to take women's sports seriously as real marketing opportunities rather than token diversity plays. The psychological ripple inside the WNBA is massive. Watching Clark secure a historic Nike deal while others are stuck with small regional sponsors creates a clear hierarchy that didn't exist before. Players like Angel Reese, who signed with Reebok earlier in 2025, must be asking themselves what they could have done differently. The answer is simple. Focus on basketball excellence instead of manufactured drama and social media controversies. Even more fascinating, this announcement validates every decision Clark made during her Iowa years 2020 to 2024. While others transferred schools, chased instant gratification, or got caught in rivalries, Clark stayed locked in, developing her game, growing her brand, and carrying herself like a pro. Now those 4 years of consistency are paying dividends her peers can only dream about. Nike's timing on September 25th was also brilliant. Dropping the news at the peak of WNBA playoff excitement when Clark's injury absence already had fans talking, maximized both sympathy and anticipation. Instead of burying the announcement in the off-season, Nike turned it into a moment that built emotional connection with fans and framed Clark's comeback as a must-watch storyline. The global potential is enormous. With Nike's worldwide reach, Clark's logo will hit shelves in markets where the WNBA barely exists. Girls in Europe, Asia, and South America will see her brand and, for the first time, develop interest in women's basketball. That's organic growth, not temporary hype. Add in Nike's tech innovations, and the May 2026 shoe could break new ground. Imagine features like performance tracking, AR integration, or social media-linked exclusives, perfect for Clark's digital-savvy fanbase. This isn't just a shoe launch, it's an ecosystem, and now the competition begins. Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, Reebok, all of them are scrambling to find the next Caitlin Clark before Nike locks down the best talent. That arms race drives up endorsement values for all women's players, raising the market floor. Nike's marketing rollout has been textbook. The September 25th commercial wasn't the end. It was just the opening chapter of a sustained campaign that builds toward October 1st and then crescendos with the May 2026 shoe. Long-term storytelling. Narrative arcs. Brand mythology. That's how you create legends. Of course, comparisons to Jordan or LeBron are inevitable. Clark isn't at that financial level yet, but the trajectory is pointing in that direction. And if her first signature shoe connects, she won't just be breaking records. She'll be rewriting the playbook for women's basketball endorsements forever. When Caitlin Clark's signature shoe launches in May 2026, the real question will be whether it can create the kind of cultural buzz that extends far beyond basketball, turning into a mainstream fashion statement. Early indicators suggest it just might. Her crossover appeal combined with Nike's marketing expertise makes success highly likely. The educational side of this partnership also deserves attention, as it acts as a real-time case study for young athletes. Clark's journey from being overlooked by major brands during her Iowa years to signing a historic Nike deal on September 25th proves that persistence, professionalism, and consistent excellence eventually pay off. That's a powerful lesson for the next generation of athletes watching her rise. The political dynamics within the WNBA are equally fascinating. Clark's Nike deal gives her independence and influence that most players simply don't possess. When you're generating millions in revenue for a global brand, you gain leverage far beyond what league salaries or small local endorsements can offer. This could shift power balances inside the league, giving Clark more control over her career trajectory. Nike's production quality in the September 25th commercial has now set a new benchmark. Throwing together cheap graphics is no longer enough. Fans expect cinematic visuals and meticulous detail, the same standards given to male athlete endorsements. This raises the bar for everyone and in turn benefits women's sports. The merchandise rollout on October 1st is a brilliant strategy, as it tests consumer demand before diving into the costly shoe production process. If apparel sales soar, Nike's investment is validated and momentum builds toward May 2026. If sales lag, adjustments can be made without significant loss. The cultural significance of Clark's deal cannot be overstated. For the first time, young girls will grow up seeing Nike commercials featuring a women's basketball player during primetime TV and view it as completely normal. That kind of representation creates aspirational role models and widens opportunities for future generations. The timing of Angel Reese's August 30th jacket incident, coming right before Clark's September 25th Nike announcement, couldn't have been more symbolic. It perfectly contrasts professionalism against pettiness. One player focused on building lasting corporate relationships, the other generating headlines for disrespect. And those choices have consequences. We're watching them unfold in real time. Financially, Clark's Nike deal is projected to be enormous.